Welcome back to the Garth Riley Show. We're talking about the brutal truth. The author of the book is here, and Marilyn Garshowitz is here talking about her story, a story that really reveals so much about the justice system. And sitting beside her is a gentleman who's had injustice as well, Rob Goodnough, who is just trying to get his family together, and the family courts have proven to be anything but family orientated for you.
That's correct.
Yeah. Let's, Marilyn, before we went to break, we talked about bullying in the workplace, and you were experiencing that. Let's carry on with that. Bullying in the workplace, I think we've all experienced it, but for you, it became a big problem.
Oh, severe. Well, it got to the point where I'd gotten sick from it, and I pulled myself out of the facility and put myself in the care of the doctor, getting checked for a heart attack, in fact. I had fallen down with chest pains, and I had reported that to my supervisor, and instead of being concerned about me, the issues that had me come in for a meeting, they didn't know if I was okay or not. They set up a meeting and had me come under false pretenses to talk about the issue. And I went in, and it was to turn around, and during that meeting, the superintendent would say to me, "Oh, I know you didn't threaten. I don't care. I can have you charged with death threats." 3 different ways she would say this to me. I don't know, that obviously means I didn't do it if she's telling me I didn't.
Right.
And they went to town on me. They did a faulty investigation.
So you were stuck with innuendo being thrown at you all the time. But Rob, let's correlate this. You two are not best friends. You've just met.
Nope.
You've met today, I think. Actually, been on the phone.
I actually saw a link on a website to Marilyn's book in her website, and I went and looked at it, and I thought, this is great. I sent her an email asking, how do I publish a book?
Right.
And that's how she got back to me.
Right. Well, publish a book, brother. I mean, honestly, your situation that is. Your situation that has your, you can't see it here, but this is craziness. In fact, can you get on? You lift it. Be careful that you don't kill. Okay, so this is your what? How much of your life is in here?
This is the financial disclosure that I've made to the court on my personal situation.
This is what you had to prepare.
This is what I had to prepare.
You couldn't afford a lawyer because you had a couple lawyers that you feel that took a run at you. And
in the beginning, I did have a lawyer.
Yeah.
And this was court ordered that I had to prepare.
Right.
Each one of these binders contains documents that were filed with affidavits of service to the other side, to the court. Copies were in the court file to continue record throughout this court proceedings.
All right, so you did all this.
This box here
is like
every single time I had to appear in court. This was documents and trees that I had to kill.
So this is like one court appearance?
One court appearance.
You have to create this.
Right. To try to argue my case before a judge that won't listen, won't even crack the binder, won't even look at it to see that what I'm saying is the truth.
Right.
I as a result of not supposedly
filing properly,
right? This disclosure.
Because let's talk about this for a moment. The court system, where you think that it's like the court system has a process, and if you miss the process, it doesn't matter how accurate you are, how diligent you are. If you miss a step, dismissed.
It's then called the act. It's not called a guideline then. It's called the act, and you have to follow the
rules. So in this case, sometimes you were actually having to put some stuff forward with proper days notice in between, and you did that. But yet when you got to the courts, they said you didn't file it on time.
Well, what originally happened was the opposing lawyer filed what's called a motion to vary, which is to look at my income and how much child support I should have been paying. Now remember that my kids live with me 50% of the time. So I should have been paying on the differential between my wages and my ex-spouse's wages, and I pay on that amount. So I had to keep producing this disclosure, court ordered. My first case with that was I was told I've got 30 days to produce all my financial records, my previous year's income tax returns, all my credit cards, bank statements, etc. I go to get those, they're in a locked filing cabinet. I can't get them open because I don't have the key. I had to go get a court order from the judge to open my filing cabinet in the presence of witnesses to produce this disclosure to my ex.
Who had the keys to the cabinet?
My ex.
Oh.
So when I go and I open up the filing cabinet, it's empty. She already had all my disclosure. And then I've got judges yelling at me, threatening me with contempt of court for not complying with these orders to supply all this documentation. Well, I had to request all those from the copies of all those from the credit card companies, the bank.
There's no way you could do it in 30 days.
No.
Well,
and at $2 or $3 a page to produce all that information going back 3 years. And so then when I finally get to court, I was told the day before that, no, sir, we're going to full trial tomorrow. For the months previous to this, I was told.
But you were doing your own defense, right?
No, at that time I had a lawyer.
Okay, all right.
But I was only going to court to sign an amended agreement.
Now they're saying full trial.
I'd already signed it. I'd already signed this. But there were some errors in it, and there were some things I didn't agree with. And I was told that, no, we're going to sign that amended agreement. My lawyer's done up this new agreement, and we're just going there to sign it. I didn't think I needed legal representation to file
To get that
one.
done.
Right.
And they said, no, it's full trial.
The day before, I found it was full trial. Now, I hadn't been properly served. I'm supposed to be given 4 days' notice of this trial, and I got emails sent to me, oh, yeah, you were notified. Wrong address, wrong postal code. So therefore, they didn't follow the rules. They followed it with the wrong address. And I show up and I try to explain this to the judge. And he said, no, we're going today. I said, can I at least talk to my lawyer? I went down and I found my lawyer in the lounge. He gave me a 10-minute break. And my lawyer wouldn't even come out of the lounge to go down to the courtroom and argue why we needed a postponement of that day. And right then I lost all faith in him. When I talked to the judge about what was actually going on, and I said, I have all this disclosure, I can prove it, everything I say, he said to me, you'll get your chance, sir. You'll have your opportunity to do that. And when it came to me, my chance, and I stood up in front of the judge, the other lawyer objected, said, this is all you've given me, sir. It's a 1/4-inch thick pile of paper for disclosure. And I said, Your Honor, if you just take the lid off the box, you'll see how much disclosure I've actually given.
Do you think, right, so at this point in time, you're doing all this talking. So my question is, right, there always seems to be some people a little ticked off that you aren't using some of the team so well.
That's right. Right. It's all about the lawyers. It's all about money.
Yeah.
It's all
Well,
about
I remember this, one of the arguments to the paralegals when the lawyers annexed the paralegals, and I'll call it an annexation. And the only reason was because they said, we want to get rid of paralegals because they're causing trouble. Well, the fact of the matter is they were graduating people from out of law school, being called to the bar that they couldn't even have jobs for. So the big legal firms needed to find something, so they took up the paralegals and said, now you've got to have some kind of degree in order to get this, to protect everybody. But it was more to get these students some work. But Marilyn, let me throw over to you here because I want to balance off, because I'm sure this show could go on for 12 hours.
Yes.
And we probably will do 12 hours worth of shows. But this type of treatment, this type of misguidance, what was your experience?
The same thing with the lawyers outright lying. I mean, I couldn't get documents and I needed to get, or tell her we need this confession from the person who signed the forms and stuff. I'm telling you, I was going insane. And just even starting to remember it, I start getting the nervousness of the whole situation.
Right,
I got quite ill from it.
But when you say, okay, we use the word lie. The problem with lie is that people then say, that that's where they start to focus on.
Okay,
Were they
so
lying?
let me explain how it's a lie. I'm telling her we need this, and in the court she's saying to the labor board, sorry, it was a labor board case at this
Right.
point in time, and this lawyer is saying, oh, I didn't know. And I kept telling her, we have to get this. We have to get this letter. We need to get this man here presenting this case because he's confessing. He's the one who signed the document, the settlement, and he kept telling me this part of this, the taxes was taken care of. I kept asking, does this take care of it? I knew something's wrong, but they had me sign a document, a false confession, is really what they did. They did so much damage to me. Really, I had no idea what I had me end up signing, and I wasn't agreeing to it. It's gang rape. It's psychological gang rape. And they all know how seriously horrific it was. And actually, the lawyer representing the union rep, who was officially the union rep for this, who didn't sign the contract, but was the official rep. I mean, you've got to think she's not doing her job because she's not signing the document. She went on every way she could have violated her responsibilities, she did. But when it came down to the lawyer, her lawyer saying, if that was said, we have a problem. Because what this problem is legal fraud. It comes right down to it. When you talk about pain and suffering, when they're asking, I couldn't find it in the legal documents. In the books, I did my research. I worked really hard to represent myself because the information I'm getting and lawyers aren't giving me the information. I had another lawyer who's laughing at me and wouldn't tell me. And in the report I paid for, and she wrote down, I won't tell you about pain and suffering.
All right, we're going to come back from break. We'll be back with the brutal truth. Have you had an issue out in the court system? We want to hear about it. Stay with us.
Oh.